All right, hello and welcome to Säkerhetspodcasten at SecT. I'm Rickard Bordfors and I have Peter Magnusson. And two of our speakers today, Ido and Dani.
Right.
Very welcome. You delivered a talk today about attacks on crypto exchanges, and a lot of the content was about exfiltrating the proceeds of the said attacks. Can you just briefly elaborate on that, because I think in a lot of cases that is actually harder than doing the hack.
Yeah. So the way we actually, this whole talk we started debating, because we originally planned on doing a talk just on the attacks, how they get in, but then I was thinking, like, if you're an attacker, right, you steal some money, and right now you're stealing cryptocurrency, but let's say you steal some shirts, you're gonna need to sell them somehow. You're gonna need to find a market to liquidate that to actual dollars. This was North Korea, so they need money for their missile program, or I don't want to name anything. But so I was thinking about the cashing out. How easy is it to cash out? And starting going through it, I'm looking at tracing the money going out from the wallets and seeing that it hits exchanges that are in very sketchy places that have no real KYC, which is know your customer, or anti-money laundering procedures, and allow you to withdraw money super easily. Like, you don't see that money going to Coinbase, Kraken, those top exchanges, which have a lot of volume, but they will not allow you to take out 100 Bitcoins in a day without proving who you are, your passport, ID, even like utility bill. So
you were talking about more the technical
aspects of infiltrating in.
Yeah, exactly. And there was some interesting correlations between previous attacks and how you were able to connect them through some of the attack vectors.
Yeah, what I originally wanted to prove is the fact that they are evolving more. Like, it doesn't seem like they're in some sort of a shifting towards another vector or different target, because we do see that as well. So we do see how they trying to exhaust a specific target, and it doesn't end up like the way they planned, and then they're shifting to a different target. And here we don't see it. We just see it branching out even more. So that was kind of the initial, the first line of debate that we had. Like, I said, no, it's evolving, and he was like, dude, if there will be regulations, they will have hard time. Like, they have hard time already, leaking out the data, the money. You saw the Bangladesh incident. You saw other hacks where they tried to forge SWIFT documents and they failed. So, like, in my subconscious, I see that some of his facts are evenly aligned. However, looking at the technical side, I'm seeing different things. So,
well, if it works, why change, really?
Because you won't be able to get the money out, which I think they will think about. So I don't see limitations in computers, in terms of exploiting automation, or making like bits move from one way to another. If it's a human, then it's a different story. If there is a human who needs to sign some specially crafted document, so that might stop them. It will be hard to get a middleman sitting in the US in some, I don't know, big bank that, federal bank that could gain them some, financial income. But if it's like bits and bytes, I think they will find a way to bypass it.
Yeah, I was thinking about another thing. The talk before you guys was not streamed, and he was from the Swedish FRA, which is an intelligence agency here in Sweden, looking at different cyber attacks and so on and so forth. He was talking about
CloudHopper.
I was talking about CloudHopper specifically, but also about some of the problems about doing a write-up, like when you're exposing what your intel, telling the world that these IOCs indicated that this threat actor was responsible, and of course, once that goes public, they're tipped off
they can stop using those IOCs.
They don't. I don't think tipped off is the right term. They just switch tools. Like they have hot patches. They have everything all set up. We're talking state sponsored. We're talking millions of dollars. They have everything ready. If they see it out in the news, they don't get mad. It's not like a script kiddie who we stole his exploit.
No.
It's so they have everything. Like they have a chain of command. They decide what do they do based on the news. They probably collect the news automatically. They know exactly how to follow
their organization. But then the bright side of publishing those IOCs is that companies can use those IOCs for detections.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword.
It is.
Yeah, but
and
many of the
especially for
information
historical data. Like they might change strategy, but if you have old logs, you might find the IOCs and know well at least.
Especially if you're doing a lot of code similarity, so you can use those IOCs and see a lot of code reuse that they're using. Like I'm a developer, so as a developer, I'm not gonna write the same code twice.
No.
I'll put it out as a library for myself and then use it. And they're doing that as well. So when you see them using the same functions and code similarity, that's also something that you can utilize those IOCs for your systems.
Sometimes it's not even the code itself because, for example, we had a Mac malware and a Windows malware, but the similarities were in the communication spectrum. However, even if the code and still the communication is not the same, we are also talking about mistakes. We saw some incidents like the one in Asia where at some point they somehow there was a glitch and we saw one of the VPN communications shutting down and actual communication with one of the original servers in North Korea. So you see a communication with a type of server and then boom, North Korea in the middle while there are some Russian strings in the binary and those type of things is things that we see today as well. So
another thing that occurred to me, I mean, in this case, it seems fairly clear who the state sponsor behind this attack is. But in many times when you see malware analysis, there are attempts of playing an attribution game and trying to point the finger at China or Russia for political reasons.
With Russia, when they put the Russian language in the binaries. And as a Russian speaker, when I saw the Russian, it's Google Translate Russian,
So I can tell you
do a better job.
I can tell you from a Kaspersky standpoint that attribution is the hardest part. And we always get tempted to rush into attribution. However, from experience, we know that attribution will come last. So we will either wait for another company, if we don't have like really strong links, we will wait for another company, for the US search, for parties who are authorized to actually do the attribution legally instead of us doing it as a private company. And then when you have that foothold, for example, Hidden Cobra from the US search, so you can actually apply it on all of your research. So you can say, here, there's a link, to this attack in Italy, and then it links to Turkey, and then it links to some other company, and then back to the U.S. search. So it's attributed to North Korea, all of it, like based on U.S. search. I think that's the right way to do it.
Right. Now it must be also challenging for even intelligence communities like Vesa was talking about in the earlier talk, to be 100% certain, because in many times there might be other political aspects behind the attack. Then the bitcoins might not be the actual target.
It could be a decoy.
It could be a decoy.
Like shifting world things to actually influence politics through cybersecurity.
Right.
Like with the North Korean talk summits, the summits, the nuclear summits. We had an attack that was on a timeline that Ito went through.
The North Korean summits. We also have the P5+1, the Dooku 2, that incident, of eavesdropping the nuclear sanctions on Iran that happened, I think 2016 or even before that. So politics and cybersecurity do like mix each other. There is a big influence there.
Right. You see a lot of or an increase, I should say, in this gray zone between sort of warfare and intelligence.
This is the interesting part, because from Dani's standpoint, he mentioned about the regulations and how the gray zone is getting smaller.
Yeah.
We gain more and more understanding on, you cannot just SQL injection a bank and then you won't be accused by law.
Mm-hmm.
So every step we do, or every fingerprint that we have over the internet is have like a link to some law or to some regulation, and it's keep getting stronger. Now, if the gray zone will decrease, then what then? What other places would they find to?
I mean, they did gambling. They did a lot of Bitcoin gambling. And they like online gambling sites. That was their thing for a while, right? I mean, they're looking for ways to make money. When crypto exchanges came, at first they were immature. It was very easy to hack into them. They did not take security seriously. Like every 25-year-old, and I'm 25, was like, I'm gonna start my own crypto exchange because it's unregulated. There was no law in the U.S., no law anywhere. So they just like got a couple of developers. We have an exchange running. You can get off GitHub some kind of a matching engine, but no security. I mean, you don't see. I'm sure Nasdaq and the New York Stock Exchange get attacked daily in masses, but they have their security in place. And those immature exchanges did not have. But we are seeing them maturing after these hacks. And Japan put very strict regulation on security of exchanges after CoinCheck. That was hacked.
That was a big hit.
CoinCheck
so I mean that starts getting hard to hack. But when we're talking about spear phishing, because human error usually, you can still get in. So I think we should also, these regulations are supposed to become effective by 2020, January 2020 and July 2020. We'll catch that from the other side. So their incentive to steal the Bitcoins will get lower if they can't actually cash it out. Because holding Bitcoin, like I said, unless you can pay your people or buy the things you need with Bitcoin, they're not going to help you too much. You're just going to hold some virtual coins.
And still with all the smiles of the fact that they won't be able to liquidate money, CoinCheck incident had $531 million worth of Bitcoin, which was the largest in history. So why would they do that? Why would they collect all that Bitcoin if they won't be able to liquidate it?
Because they can't liquidate it right now. You saw exchanges like
I don't know. You're
saying
saying right now on $500 million. It's not like you're going to the ATM and pull out money.
It's going to get noticed.
It will take like 2-3 years to cash it out.
Right now, if you look at exchanges like Qubit in Russia and some exchanges in other countries, you can cash out as much as you want as long as there is someone willing to trade with you. There is no KYC or AML procedures at all. So if they had enough volume, they could have cashed it out. But as these things progress and every country does legislation to actually license exchanges, and I know New York already has the New York license for stock exchange. That means they have to get a license from the state to run a stock exchange. Once that happens in other countries, then they can take all that 500 million they saw in Bitcoin, but it'll probably take them a decade to actually get it out if they have to show an ID for every Bitcoin or every 2 Bitcoins that they're trying to withdraw to US dollars, and it will be tracked. And we saw the listing of anonymous coins, which happened 2 days ago.
That's an interesting point.
And that is as a result. They said we delisted privacy coins as a result of the FATF travel rule.
In one word, the biggest thing that can kill a threat actor is exhaustion. I think that's like the major.
They need incentive. If it's too hard, gets too hard, they'll find a new venture.
They'll switch to another type of target. Yeah, exactly. Well, great, guys. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Sure, thank you for having us.
It was
Thank
awesome.
you very much.
And you're giving another talk.
I'm giving another talk
this
at
afternoon.
1:45 about hacking, not hacking, but pen testing. AWS, we're calling it battle attacker versus defender. We added a new subtitle, from the cloud to the ground. We got some interesting things. new attack vectors. So
Cool.
I urge everyone to come and see it.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thank
Thank you very much.